One Piece 1165. Finally, 1165 chapters into this manga, I'm seeing what I want to see. Holy hell, this is one of the most enjoyable chapters of One Piece I've read in a very long time, right? And I like One Piece, I do. I have some issues with it, especially in like recent events, but this chapter, I love it. Everything about it, art, character moments, themes, like everything about it is awesome. Holy glaze, I know, but it's deserving because this chapter is genuinely masterful. So we're getting into like, this is the meat and potatoes of God Valley. Like this is the God Valley incident. Everything we've heard about it, like the main event of God Valley happens right here in this chapter. Rox is obviously turned into like the big demon Hulk looking dude with like teeth, and he's just a big angry bloke now basically, which is kind of tragic because I really like Rox and I don't think he was a terrible dude, even though he was kind of a terrible dude. But Garp and Roger are like, I think hearing his voice with some observation haki like stuff because they're getting a message from Rox basically subconsciously saying, please kill me. And that's obviously what they're gonna do because they're men of honor. But seeing Roger and Garp, like, oh my days, bro, these two, seeing them fight side by side and like some of the ways that Oda portrays it is so amazing in this chapter. Genuinely, it looks so amazing. It's everything I wanted it to be. Honestly, it really is. I do wish the actual like fight was more than a chapter long. Like I kind of wish One Piece sometimes got a bit more into the, I'm gonna get cooked for this, but a bit more into like the GGK type thing where a fight extends over multiple chapters, especially a fight as big scale and important to the story as this one. But I'm okay with it, all right, because it's awesome. So Garp's obviously there with just his fists. Roger's there with his sword. Rox's sword is, I think, growing as well, which I don't really understand how that works. Rox monster takes a massive punch to the nose from Garp, and then obviously Roger's there, like, clashing with Rox's sword. But Rox's haki is just different, bro. It's just different gravy, okay? Like, it sends Garp flying, it sends Roger flying, and basically in the chapter they say, like, one-on-one, our haki just cancels each other out because this guy's built different. And, you know, when you're canceling out Garp's and Roger's haki, you know that is, like, arguably top one in the verse right now. Like, take Emu aside, Rox is just moving like no other character has ever moved in One Piece, bro. I'm sorry, like, this is different stuff. Rox is just sending out, like, massive haki blasts, sending them flying. Obviously, the mountain's kind of gone to shit thanks to Whitebeard. The sky has split, obviously. Shiki and all the other pirates around are basically just now trying to leave the island, right? The Rox pirates are done for. Roger's crew is trying to get back. I think Gaban and Rayleigh want to stay to get Roger to safety. But the best part of the chapter for me is just seeing the Roger and Garp, bro. Screw everything else. I don't even care. Like, bro, just seeing them side by side, and Oda's done this parallel. Well, like, Roger's got a blood streak on one side of his face, and then it's like mirrored on Garp. It's great. I love it. And then my favorite panel in the whole chapter is Roger casting off his pirate coat and Garp casting off his navy coat as they face off with Rox, which is like, in this moment right now, Roger is not a pirate and Garp is not a marine, all right? They're gonna fight side by side as allies, a temporary truce, as friends for the moment, all right? And I love the like symbolism of them casting off their jackets in a way of being like, we're not navy or pirates right now. We're just two dudes who are doing the right thing. And I think that's a really great way of portraying kind of how they came to work together in God Valley. I think it's awesome. They are just, I'm sorry, it is crazy impressive that Roger and Garp are just like on their ones with Rox, like big demon Rox. That is, it is impressive. I can't lie, it's so cool. Some of the best fight choreography and artwork that I've seen from Oda in a hot minute. It's awesome. But yeah, they're basically just going in for attacks and then getting slapped up by Rox. All right, there's one bit where Garp's literally grabbed onto his shoe and can't really do too much, but then does manage to like swing him into a giant side of the mountain. Roger goes in for a big haki slash, and everyone else kind of just trembles and people start passing out all around the place because the haki being released is insane. It's just crazy, all right? Everyone else is freaking out. Lin and Kaido are kind of having a little squabble between each other because they're pathetic little children. But at the end of the day, realistically, what's going on is Roger and Garp are just getting their asses handed to them. Like, they go in for an attack and then they just get slammed. We cut away to this very interesting little scene of Whitebeard meeting a fan of his that's called Graham, captain of the Polo Pirates. Now, from one look at Graham, you can tell, like, this is Marco's dad. This is the guy we saw in 1162, I believe, that kicked the crap out of Silver Axe, whatever his name is, I don't know, some irrelevant NPC bum on the Rox pirate crew. Yeah, it seems like he's maybe Marco's dad, and he is a fan of Whitebeard, so I think he offers to merge crew, and this seems to be how the Whitebeard crew started, which I'm really interested about, to be honest. There is a little theory that, like, maybe it is just Marco. I don't know. Maybe he does like, you know, proper Phoenix stuff where he gets reborn as a younger man and whatever. That's not for right now. Let's just go back to Roger vs. Garp, okay? Because that's what we're all here for. Again, they're like, oh, bro, our haki is like, all our haki is so strong that we're not making any progress here. We hit him, his defensive haki cancels out our offensive haki in like one-on-one attack, so there's just no point. In a battle of attrition, we cannot win against Rocks because he's an absolute monster. Like, he's a beast of a man. I do like the dialogue between Roger and Garp, though. Like, in between them getting their asses handed to them, they actually do have some really nice dialogue where, you know, Roger's like, why have you not just quit the Marines? And Garp's kind of saying like, well, who's going to protect the Marines then? You know, like, they're still people. And I think Garp really does believe in what he does. He just doesn't necessarily believe in what the rest of the organization does. And he kind of takes it upon himself. Because remember, this guy is the guy who refused to be an admiral. Like, he just straight up refused the position. He's very much free in a sense, I think. Like, I really like that theme about Roger and Garp, is that each of them in their own professions are kind of like, they have a label on them, but they are free individuals. Like, Garp does what Garp wants to do. He's there to protect people. He's not there to follow the orders of those above him like everybody else and that bum Sengoku tends to just do willingly. And I really do like how they can kind of relate to each other in that sense. Like, they do have this similar theme of freedom, and I quite like it. They are actually just very similar individuals, and I really hope we do get to see this between Kobe and Luffy later, you know, both following their dreams. Anyway, yeah, they have the haki conversation. They realize that Rocks is feeling very frustrated, and, you know, obviously all his dream's been flushed down the drain, at least they think so, and he's been ordered to go kill his wife and child. So they're like, all right, this guy probably does want to get put out of his misery. It's a pretty bad state to be in. And they realize, wow, if my haki is cancelled out with Rox's haki, and your haki is cancelled out with Rox's haki, what if we just combine our haki together to create big haki that will overcome Rox's not as big haki? I'll be honest, I don't know how I feel about the resolution. The double panel is amazing, like the art is great, it looks awesome. I can imagine in the anime it'll be pretty dope if Toei get off their asses for once, and it's good, but I don't really like the logic of, you know, like, what happened to Devil Fruits, man, and all that, you know what I mean? Now it's just like, oh, I have strong haki, he has strong haki. How do we beat strong haki? Combine haki, big haki. It's very like monkey brain kind of I don't know. It's kind of a boring way to end a fight. Like, I don't like what we're doing at the moment with just now everything's down to strong haki clashes with strong haki, and they seem kind of even, and then we never actually get to see any real fighting. I do like in this chapter we see actual choreography, which, you know, obviously old One Piece back in the day, it would be like all the time it would be like that, because haki wasn't really a thing, and you'd have devil fruits and stuff where fights were actually interesting. But now, we're just strong haki, big haki, double haki. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Again, I wish this fight was an actual fight. Like, imagine if One Piece took the Gojo vs Sukuna route, where you have these hyped up fights. Imagine if Zoro vs Mihawk was resolved in a chapter. It's One Piece, so it won't be. But like, this fight, Roger and Rocks vs Garp, the fight that has been hyped up for the entirety of One Piece, happened in the span of a single chapter. Obviously, in the anime, it'll be 50 episodes. But in the manga, it's still just a chapter. Why? Make it 5, at least, you know? Have an actual fight. Just allow yourself... I know, Oda, you're probably under time pressure or whatever, bro. I know this series has been going on for decades, but like, just allow yourself a minute to just draw an awesome fight. It would push One Piece up a whole level in my rankings, bro. It would make it... But still, what we got is awesome, so I won't complain too much. Overall, peak chapter. There's just the dynamic between Garp and Roger, especially them casting off, like, their coats is... I love it. It's so great, and I can't wait to see where we go from here, because this is sort of the climax everyone talks about in God Valley. But yeah, like, subscribe, all that shit, you know how it is, and I will see you next time, hopefully, if I actually get off my ass and make One Piece reviews.